speak Yoruba, here, raise up your hand. If you don't understand Yoruba, if you don't understand Yoruba at all, okay.
I will interpret for them. Tell about Yoruba.
You know what I'm asking is because going.
Ìdí tí mo ṣe ń béèrè ni pé I don't really truly understand Yoruba.
Let me introduce myself first and foremost. My name is Mufu Onifade. It's as simple as that. I'm the father of the author of Chidima's Dignity and other short stories. Her full name is Olarolabi Onifade, but the short form is Rolabi. If you want to know the meaning of Olarolabi, Ola, what is Ola in English? No, Ola is not wealth. That's why this name combines. Ola in English means honor. Ola is wealth. You know, the Yorubas will say, Ola, when it's Ola Tosi, let us give honor to whom honor is due. So Ola is honor. Ola is wealth. Normally in Ola, only Ola, only wealth. So her name is Ola Honor. Ola gives birth to wealth. So that's the meaning of the name. I have to go through this so that you'll be able to understand the meaning of the name, because I mean she contends with a lot of people, even in school, when they ask her what's her name, and she says my name is Rolabi. You know, so they misinterpret and she will now correct them. Because we also taught her. And that's how I did with all my children. My first child is called Olabolade. She's my second. It is Olarolabi. Then the third child is Olabosola. So it's a combination of Ola and Ola for their names. You know, we thought, or rather we believe that at the Giguve, Meta, to Colomba, Tomo, Olomade is going, you know. Máa sọ ìtàn kékeré kan fún yín. Àkọ́kọ́ sọ nípa ìtàn ara mi. Then máa sọ bí ọ̀rọ̀ ìwé bó ṣe wáyé.
So I'll tell you about the story of
so that you know that there's nobody that cannot do anything that you want to do in life. You understand? I am 55 years old. 55. But 48 years ago, that was in 1973. That was when my father sent me to Lagos. I was 7 years old. If you are 7 years old, please raise up your hand. Aha. See, that's how I was when I was sent to Lagos in 1973. And you know what they sent me to Lagos for? To learn vulcanizing. And I did that for 9 years. Yes, in a Butero of all places. A Butero till today is not just a ghetto, it's a dangerous place to live. I was living in the midst of, you know, in quotes, criminals, Indian hemp smokers, drug addicts, and all that. But in my life, I've never taken to drugs, I've never taken to smoking. As a matter of fact, I don't take alcohol. And I lived in the midst of these people for 9 years. But all along, certain things were part of my life. The arts, generally. Writing, drawing and painting, theater, and all that. So my life revolves around theater. The only other passion that I had was boxing. Yes. As at 8, 9, 10 years of my age, I was the kid champion in Ekutero in boxing. Then I will tell you how I left boxing to now pursue my dream in art. Master sorry for me. Ìgbà tí mo wà ní Ekutero, ẹni tó jẹ́ ọmọ ọ̀gá tó ń kọ́ wa níṣẹ́, loved boxing. He was a Boy Scout. So you will go to National Stadium to go and watch that time, Nigerian boxing was competing seriously with the US. Yeah, Nigeria has had a beautiful glory in boxing in Nigeria. The age of people like Dele Jonathan, Agbaso Rega, Billy Savage.
Big Tiger.
No, Dick Tiger was long before this time. Was long before. Dick Tiger became a height. You know, like for instance now, let's say today we are looking at the height of writing in Nigeria, and then you remember Professor Oleshoyinka. So at that time, we are thinking of the height of boxing, Dick Tiger. But he lived earlier than the period I'm talking about.
So where did you put Onyegwachi? Peter Onyegwachi?
No, those are later champions now. Those are later champions. I'm talking about people like Dele Jonathan, Ogan Jimo from Kwara State, they call him Atomic Bomb. You know, people like Billy Savage, people like Obi Sanwapa. You know, those are finest boxers of that time. They were champions, they won locally and internationally. And I always saw them as my heroes. You know, so I wanted to be like them. So they organized a children's competition, boxing competition, and I took part and I won. And the guy challenged me again. You know, we met again and I beat him again. So when they challenged me again for the third time, I didn't see any reason to practice. So I just went into the fight without practicing. Oh no, nonsense in Lara. So after defeating me, I told myself, there's a place in Ebutero called Alakoro Training Center. Sheung, God will bless you for what you are doing here. God will continue to prosper you. What Sheung is doing is supposed to be done by government. Government because that's what was happening at Alakoro Training Center. When you enter Alakoro Training Center, you find a section for boxing, you find a section for table tennis, you find a section for visual arts, you have a section for, we call it entertainment. These are cultural dancers. But entertainment, la man pe nígbà yẹn. You understand? These are places where people like, there's a guy they call Baba Magi. He was a comedian of the 70s and early 80s. He found the man, he practiced in here. He also, you know the man they call Madame Chage?
Yeah.
The husband, that's Balogun. You know she's passed as Balogun.
Yes.
That's where they also used to rehearse. And that's why they rehearse their, what's this play called? Afonja. Afonja, they be seriously. So that's why they used to have their rehearsals.
When you put likes of Ogunde?
Baba nìyẹn. Àwọn Baba nìyẹn. Ogunde had come much earlier now. Ogunde 1946. I'm talking about 1978, 78 and early 80. That's what I'm talking. No, I'm talking about my own era. So gbogbo àwọn Baba wa ni. So I'm a gbé fún wọn agboga. So after I was defeated, I told myself that I think I needed a proper training and I needed a proper coach. So I told myself that I would go to Alakoro Training Center to talk to the boxing coach there.
Jose, so are you understanding the story?
Yes.
Are you sure? If you don't understand, pause.
You
Rewind.
can always call me.
You will always rewind.
So you need to get that below it. Let me drop my phone here so that I'm feeling heavy. So I said I wanted to go and see the coach so that I would tell him. Don't forget, I was learning recognizing Cherry boxing fight Watamanja. Ale Lamanja. To do àwọn ọ̀gá tó ń kó aníṣẹ́ wọn gbọ́dọ̀ mọ̀ lórí nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn ń ṣẹlẹ̀. So somebody máa form ring ká máa jà nínú ẹ̀, àwọn èèyàn ló máa form ring yẹn. They will form a big circle. So àwa tá a fẹ́ jà a máa wà láàrin méjì. That's how we used to do it. So mi ò ní a professional trainer like a coach. So now I thought I needed one. Now Alakoro Training Center, the only time I have to go there, the only time I have to go to Alakoro Training Center is tí wọ́n bá rán mi níṣẹ́. Oya ló bá mi ra oúnjẹ wá. So just sneak in, look at what people are doing, and then you have to also quickly leave. Those over ti pẹ́ kó tó dé shop ẹgbàá ni. Àdúrà ẹgbàá táwa máa ń jẹ. Ẹ mọ̀ pé sìn ìgbà yẹn kò sí nǹkan tó ń jẹ́ child abuse o. Ìsìn ni child abuse wà o. Nothing like child abuse. Someone man nọ ẹ́. You know, 6-7 years old. Who is 10 years old here?
10.
Thank you. That age. Who is 13 here? Because I left the place around that 13-14. Who is 13 years old here? See. So you can see at that age. So tó bá fẹ́ nà mí, wọ́n máa bọ́ àtẹ̀wò àti ṣòkòtò sílẹ̀. Wọ́n á dọ̀bálẹ̀ sí orí táyà. Wọ́n á fi kòbókò. Wọ́n á fi to ẹgba láti ẹsẹ̀ wá sí gbogbo èèyàn báyìí. Nǹkan táwa go through nìyẹn. Oh, they complain to anybody because it was a standard way of raising children. It's not because you are their word. Because ẹgbà tí mi jẹ ni ọmọ táwọn náà bí ló náà jẹ. In fact, wọ́n máa ń ná àwọn jù àwa lọ. So you can't complain. Don't you want to say partiality? No, it's not a partiality.
Height
Okay.
of discipline.
Discipline, yes. So, and I decided that let me go to Alakoro Center. So when I left school, because I was in primary school then, so normally I'm close at 2 o'clock. But then my day workshop 2:30. Now to back to the workshop in 2:31, 1 minute here, Egbani. Like I described in my book, in a butero, there's no forgiveness for offenses. Once you offend, you get punished. It's as simple as that. Now let me tell you how that works. Sorry, let me switch off this phone so that it will allow me to concentrate. I'm at the later. Okay. Now, if during the day, tó bá ṣe ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ kan, bóyá kò gbé táyà lọ fún ẹni tó bá ṣe táyà, ó wá gbàbẹ̀ lọ ṣe ránù lọ. Normally, you know, children will always be children. Ó wá pẹ́ kó tó dé because as bó ṣe ń lọ yẹn, wọ́n ti time ẹ pé pápátá 10-15 minutes wá padà dé. Wọ́n ò ní sọ fún ẹ.
One time I want to see that.
So by the time you go, you are supposed to have been back in 10 minutes. You are now back in 20 minutes. Wọ́n máa bèrè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Time wo ló yẹ kó padà dé? Wàá sọ kí ni time sọ tó bá ti lè sọ ní báyìí. The next thing to follow is punishment. So tó ń bá fẹ́ nù ẹ̀ tí àwọn ará àdúgbò wọ́n bá bọ́ bẹ̀bẹ̀ pé ẹ jọ ẹ fi sílẹ̀ ìfà ìwọ ọlọ́kàn ara ẹ̀ wọ́n fẹ́ nà ó máa wù ẹ́ kó sọ pé ẹ jẹ́ kán nà mí. You know why? Because tí wọ́n bá ti bá ẹ bẹ̀bẹ̀ tí wọ́n jẹ́ kán nà ẹ̀ wọ́n á fi ẹ́ lẹ̀. Tó bá ti wá di aago mẹ́wàá lálẹ́ everybody ti close. Ọkàn máa dúró pẹ̀lú. Mufu! I said, sir, that's my meeting. Kí ló ṣe lọ́sàn? He now started explaining. At that time, there was nobody to beg for you because everybody had closed. Want a lolly? So what? He fated. So, don't have no to bash it. You will not wish that anybody should beg on your behalf. Because all come by postpone and go to my jail. So, I was coming from school. Moya Alakoro Training Center. My purpose was to go and see the boxing coach. I can't remember the man's name now. Oh no, it was a boxer, a great boxer before this time. But when I got there, I got there too early. Because I got there around maybe 2:15. But I discovered and pray, the boxers don't usually get there until 5. 5 early. They'll be there 5 to 7. So that means I went too early. So I needed to now properly, for the first time, explore the training center. But Mokori, if you don't take back table tennis, I was seeing it for the first time. I was like, meanwhile, they'd always been there. But to me, me explore. So mo àwọn tó gbá table tennis díẹ̀, ìgbà tó yá, mo kúrò ńbẹ̀. Then ìsàlẹ̀, ó dàbí pé láti ibi báyìí sí line yìí, àwọn table tennis yẹn, ẹgbẹ́ lọ́hùn, àwọn boxers yẹn. Then this line wá jẹ́ up and down. So ìsàlẹ̀, àwọn entertainment la máa àwọn náà nísàlẹ̀, okay, visual arts. So mo lọ wo àwọn tó ń jó. At that time, Timbari anybody tó bá ń jó onírànù ni wọ́n. That was my personal conclusion. So when I saw them dancing, I just like, onírànù. I just left there. What's happening up there? Mo ń gbọ́ ariwo lókè. I tried to ask, kí ló ń ṣẹlẹ̀ lókè? Ẹni tí mo gbè lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀yìn òtí ẹ̀rán mi, ó kàn wò bẹ́ẹ̀, ó dà mí nínú òde lọ. So I had to go upstairs. When I go upstairs, and this is the high point of the story, when I go upstairs, I saw a large number of children crowded around what I did not see. So I had to now push in. As I was pushing in, of course, naturally children will push you back, and then that created some kind of friction and noise. And the person in the middle now said, "Daddy, here." Of course, our children want to go. So eventually, I got in front of him. The man said, now the first thing I noticed when I entered, I saw some photographs of birds, of banana, of oranges, beautiful pictures, as in beautiful. So when I got to the man, I saw that he was demonstrating for these children. He was teaching them how to draw. The man now looked at me. I said, "What's your name?" I said, "My name is Mufu Onifade." He said, "You like art?" And I've always loved art. I started my art by using my finger to draw on the ground. That's how I started my drawing. So what I was seeing this time around was magical. I mean, you can imagine when a child sees beautiful art. So the man asked me, "Do you want to learn art?" I said, "Yes, I want to learn." And I said, "Okay, everybody, now we have a new member of the class." Now, that was how I joined that art class. And that was also how I jettisoned boxing for art. From that day, I never went back to the boxing again. So I got stuck to art. And it pushed me till I studied fine arts in the university. And right now, I'm at the point of completing my PhD in art. Do you know why I'm telling you this story? Because all of you from that side, Ejem fi àwọn àgbàlagbà sílẹ̀, Ejem fi máyì sílẹ̀, máyì náà sílẹ̀, madam náà sílẹ̀. Bọ́sẹ̀ rí láti táyà àwọn àti yẹn wá yẹn tó fi lọ báyìí. Tó fi dé wàlẹ̀ débi. There's nobody ní àárín yín tí Ọlọ́run ò fún ní creative talent. One of the major problems is, number one, for you to detect it and nurture it. Number two is for somebody to notice it in you and prod you on until you get there. So creative talent, tell me, orin kíkọ ni, tell me, ijó jíjó. You notice that in primary school, see all those bad boys, ta ló kọ́ wọn nílù. Oh, come on now. Well, they'll just feel they have the flair and they'll try it and then they become the school drummers. Ẹlòmíì tó bá ti wọ̀ láti primary 2 or so, wọ́n máa gbadélẹ̀ tó máa fi jáde. Talent wọn nìyẹn. Ẹlòmíì talent ẹ̀ ni pé kó máa jó, kó máa ti gbọ́lù ni. Tó bá ní lọ ra nǹkan wá, tó bá ń lọ, tó bá ti gbọ́lù báyìí, kó máa jó lọ because inborn ni, ó mú wá látọ̀run ni, ẹ̀bùn àmútọ̀run wá ni. And every child has it. So let me talk a bit on roller, which is the same thing that happened to my children. Because I am an artist, I'm a visual artist, I'm a writer, I'm a theater producer. Everything I mentioned that I do, they are at a professional level. Professional level. I've taken theater performance to London, to France, I've taken it to Austria, I've taken it to Mozambique. Exhibitions, I've exhibited everywhere. I founded a group that we exhibit every year. Actually, now we're planning for another one. So everything I do in the arts, I do them at a professional level. When you pay boya, flair. No, it's what I do for a living. And I told myself that I will not push any of my children to do art. But 10 of my children but show flair. People need talent here. That's my own personal decision. And I'm happy that some parents are here. So I also borrow from this. Now, what happened in the case of Rolabi? Rolabi was a student at Ebadilaja. I was living in Abuja. My wife and other children are in Lagos. So I always come from Abuja. I can spend like 4 days with them. Then I'll go to Abuja again. I could be away for a month. Then I come Wale again. But normally, once I'm daily, to buy morning flight in Mobile. Once I drop my things, I go to school Rolabi. I need to go and see her because she was a border. So I need to go and see and hear from my teachers to know what is happening. I don't like leaving my children, letting them loose. No, I keep my eyes on my children. So when I go there that day, and to just be guardian, who is also a teacher, that woman, fantastic woman. She's the kind of person that people should keep their children with. So, who shows special interest in Roland. So when I go there, after that is sorrow, you may tell about sorrow. Then you want to look with Roland, we are in class, we are in hostel or wherever. But it may see woman, I shall so generally. After that, they discuss serious issues. The next thing she now said, that Roland, man, she baby. I'm not like, baby, kilo she. Roland wrote a story. Then on the assembly, read it to everybody. And the whole assembly rose, in applause for her. Now, I was wondering, how did you come about writing a story? Because me, we don't you story. Anytime Jimba Toba was class assignment, the married to Manche, and then she loves to read. So I got her books. So if she's not reading, she'll be doing one assignment or the other, or watching TV anyway, like all other children. So when the woman now told me, and I said, okay, you go come me quick. So when she came, after I told her, she exchanged your request and all that, and I said, your teacher just told me that you wrote a story. She was just like, yes. Would there really be any big deal? And I said, so you write stories? She said, I tried. That's okay. I'll see you the next day. So the next day, I was supposed to go back to Abuja the next day, but I postponed it. So they have a bookshop, just right, along the Western Bank or Nobariga and that's just right, not man. So I went to buy a beautiful notepad that you can use for writing, and then I gave it to her, and I said, you can try and write up to 20 stories. We will try as much as possible to help you publish it. So I gave her that note. And then I went back to Abuja. So by the time come up Paris time, she wanted to delay came to the last Abuja. She just came to me and gave me the notepad. So that's my notepad. So when I opened it, I kept opening. The thing refused to end. And I said, these are your stories. I said, yes. How many stories? 32. So 32, that is select 26. And I have my reason for selecting 26. So we selected 26 short stories and got it published. As I'm talking to you now, she has completed another 2 versions. Now, one thing you need to notice, as at the time she completed those stories, she was 13. She was 13 years old. So, but of course, the process of publishing a book, once you're money, you have to give somebody who will type it, then you have to give it to an editor, and then you have to, after the editing, you have to give it to a proofreader before you now finally commit to printing and all. So it took a long, that's why it took almost 2 years to get it ready. So that is the story leading to the publishing of Chidima's Dignity and other short stories. Maybe I should stop here in case anybody asks any question. Don't ask about inspiration to write this because I'm not admonifade. I am Mufu Onifade. But maybe you want to ask questions about the role of the parent on the child. Because the role of the parent is also very important. And I would please like to advise. This is a beautiful affair that we are running here, and I'm so much in love with it. Next time, always try to, maybe occasionally, get like 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 parents to also attend. So that when you bring your speakers, as they are talking to the children, you also talk to the parents. And this is from my experience. I was invited by Chrisland, Chrisland School. They have a branch in Ijimu, which is a very massive school. So I was invited to come and do a career talk with the children. They invited about 9 of us. So, but after our presentation and all that, I won an award that day. But that's not the issue. So after all our presentations, they now use us to form a panel that children should be directing questions at us. So I got 80% of the questions. You know why? Because the other people are in preferred professions. Bankers, lawyers, engineers, teachers. And so, economy the area art, an area that people run away from. So, and what I discovered that day is that a lot of these children are actually interested in art, but their parents say no. I say no. So one boy asked a question, which is very pertinent. He said, "Sir," I said, "Yes, please." He said, "Please, as a student, I am interested in art, but my parents don't want me to study art. What will you advise me to do?" That's a very technical question. So the first question I asked is that, is any of your parents here? He said, "Yes, my mom is there." And I said, "Where's the mom?" So the woman raised her hand. I said, "Madam, good afternoon." He said, "Good afternoon, sir." Everybody laughed. I said, "Why don't you want your child to study art?" You know what she said? Because she's a pharmacist. Her husband is also a pharmacist. And they already have a pharmacy. When they grow old, he's the one that they want to hand over to. So, ask the woman a very simple question. "Madam, was your mom a pharmacist?" She said, "No." "Your dad, was he a pharmacist?" She said, "No." "Your husband's mom, was she a pharmacist?" She said, "No." "Your husband's dad, a pharmacist?" She said, "No." So if your parents did not force you into their own profession, why should you endeavor to push your own children into your own profession? You need to allow your child to have his own life. And that's one of the major problems we have in Nigeria. Most of these lawyers, they will always make sure that their children, just because they need to inherit the chambers, not necessarily because, look at Vaz now. He's fast practicing. But he went to study, they forced him to study law, and then he went to music. Okay, this is someone we have that. When the pharmacy is here. But you see, of all these professions, the only one that will give you the freedom you require in life is the arts. And also, let me give you one secret. A profession you can't retire from. That even if you are showing guys 80 what now? 87. If they tell showing guys just publish a book now, he just release a book. There's no retirement. As a lawyer, there will be an age that you can't go to work anymore. As an accountant, there's an age you can't go to work anymore. Apart from me, Papa, you know about Papa. He's 93 years old. In fact, he just delivered a painting just last week. He did the painting of Before Abayomi, the first the son gave him, and then when they finished the painting, they now have to go and donate it to Yemisi Shalom Art Museum. So there's no retirement in art. Me, as I'm talking to you now, I'm just very happy I'm an artist, because by the time I'm 70, by the grace of God, I'm going to my machine by also already already. But art is not generally. If you knew Ambassador Olusola, the man who created the village master, until the man died, he practiced his art. But look, go and look at most of these lawyers. Look at Everett Williams. He got to a point, he had to give the chamber to the children. He wasn't going to court anymore. He retired. So art, once you are plugged into art, art will give you something you will eat for life. So my advice, or maybe I give my advice, I think I need to listen, I need to get a feedback from you. So let's ask questions. I'm here. Feel free to ask questions. And I'll answer your questions. Feel free, we are all the same, so don't think this man is doing for us. I'm not doing for you.
Yes.
Oh.
Thank you for the appreciate and your comment. Sir, you said you entered into visual art. So how did you schedule between the organizing work and the visual art? You didn't see that.
That's a very, very good question. Because I skipped that area. You know why? Because they are details. All these details have been put down in a book form. The book is coming out very soon. But I'll explain. You know, when your parents send you to go and learn a particular trade, the other things you are doing outside of it does not concern your parents, also does not concern your organ. So what concerns your organ most is that job you have come to learn, that trade you have come to learn. There's a kind of tube pack, you know what they call tube? It's always inside tires. It comes in a pack. The best pack for a tube is Michelin at that time. Michelin pack. When you see that Michelin pack, it has 4 sides. The first side, there's a picture of that bloated man. There's a picture. In front, there's Michelin written in a bold form. Then on the other side, Michelin as well. But you see that 4th part is plain. There's nothing there. So that is the part that I will cut. That's my drawing paper. You understand? So once I cut it, we did something we do all the time. So in a week, we can get as much as 12 new tubes here. Because Ebutero has always been very busy. It's not just now. Since that 70s, yes. So once I cut those things, those are my drawing books. And then from my feeding money, at that time my feeding money was 5 kobo, not 5 naira. And from 5 kobo, once I spend 3 kobo, I am full. Because you go to buy amala 2 kobo and 1 kobo. So you have 2 kobo change. So from that 2 kobo, I could afford to buy a pencil or a biro, depending on which one I want to use. And then I will be drawing, I'll do my drawing and I'll keep it. Today, if anybody asks me what is my regrets in life, my biggest regrets in life, is because the artworks that I produced as a child, I didn't keep any of them. It's not my fault. You understand? I was drawing for fun. I didn't know how life would be as an artist. I didn't know that when I grew up, I could actually sell the work that I produced as a child. I didn't know. So I would just draw and just throw it there. And then when they want to clean the workshop, they put everything in the dustbin around. So that's how I was managing myself. And then also, you know, as I was just going to school. So we were doing art in school, art and craft. So we had the school drawing book. That one, I didn't buy it myself. The people I was living with bought it for me, just like I bought my notes and all that. So I'll complete that too. We do drawing in school. And then I had a friend His name is Olayinka something. I can't remember the surname now. But Olayinka, we call him Yinka. The two of us, develop an idea. He's also very good in drawing. So he will strive to get a separate drawing book. He will draw all sorts of things. It's quite good. Then me too, I'll get one. I'll also draw on it. Then we'll now exchange. We'll exchange. And then we have those girls in our classes who just love what you are doing. They just love your drawing. Some of them can come and say, and I love this drawing book. I say, oh, you love it? I say, yes, I love it. But yeah, take. We didn't know now. Everything we are doing was just passion. You just give it out. And thank you. At times, you can say, no, I won't give you. Okay, go and buy me a bowl of rice. And I say, oh yeah, let's go. All this. So that was how I was able to manage my time, in between. Sorry, Paul. Any other question?
Which university did you go to? Which university did you go to?
There are only 2 universities in the whole of Nigeria.
You did not get the other.
It's a school called Oba and one universities.
No, boys, I'm going to take your numbers.
And I'm here to rightly take your
Because they are contentious about that.
Yes.
Oba University, and there are only 2 universities.
Yeah, OAU and others.
Unilag and all that. So I want to know which one.
Which one did you?
No, the one I attended is Oba and one university, OAU.
But since I want to
So it's Obafemi Awolowo University. Yeah, but that's not where I started from. I first went to the Polytechnic, Ibadan. That's where I did my OND. So after OND, I rested for 4 years. That's because I now started working on the Horizon, which is not the reason I'm here. That technique of painting, I was working on the experiment, which took me 7 years. So after I got to 11, I now sought admission to Ife, now graduated. So it's Ife and Ibadan.
How did you cover your school fees with your mom and parents?
Mom, okay. Now this brings another secret, which every artist can enjoy. Me, since I entered Polytechnic, I didn't have anybody to go and collect money from. That's the truth. In fact, the only time I got money from my dad was when I was in my final year in the Polytechnic. When I was in my final year, and I remember my dad gave me 15 naira. Yes, 15 naira, not 1,005. 15 naira, which I added to whatever I needed to do. Now, the truth is that as an artist, even as a dancer, as a singer, as a drummer, you make money from your art. You may not be able to make it when you are much younger, but it should get to a level that the people you work with themselves will realize that I need to be compensating this person. So it is such compensation, little as they were, that saw me through school. Because, okay, let me explain something to you. When I left secondary school, the first place I worked was the law chamber. It's called A.A. Akintoye and Co.
Law chamber.
Law, yeah, in Tinubu. And I was a good clerk. Yes, I was employed as a clerk. I was a fantastic clerk. The man was old and then I think had glaucoma, so he wasn't seen again. So I was his eyes and mouth. I write his letters. He would dictate, I'll read his arguments, so that's okay before we type and send to wherever he's sending. So that's basically what I was doing there. But I want to cut the story short. I know that they love me in that chamber. Everybody already was singing my praises. They know that I can become a lawyer and all that. But I wasn't feeling, I was doing all they wanted me to do. They were happy with what I was doing, but I was not happy. I was not feeling contented. I felt that, no, there should be a better place I could go. Now, when I was in secondary school, there was a drama competition organized by Lagos State Government. They call it All Lagos Secondary School Drama Competition. So our school participated. I wrote the play, I directed, and I played the lead. So, and eventually we went through preliminaries, final stages before we now qualify for final. 5 schools out of all Lagos State schools qualified for final. And then eventually we won second prize. So now, our second prize was just too good. You know why? Because the school did not give us any support. The principal made the point clear that we should not bother to take back because there is no money. Well, I was the president of the drama club. I told the principal, don't worry, we'll look for money on our own. Do you know how we look for money? We went from class to class. We created this can that we use for rugby. So we carried it about from class to class, and guys were generous. They gave us all the money we needed to organize ourselves. And then all those ladies, never joke with those ladies. Those ladies will get you whatever you want. Yeah. When I told some of my class, a lady, I said, look, you are supposed to be Madam the Madam. So how do you get a costume for Madam the Madam? You know what this lady did? Immediately after that rehearsal, she went to meet her mom. On the day of the performance, she brought, the clothes they used to call one yosi. One yosi of that time. No. Now, that's what she wore for the performance. Those are part of this that gave us that prize. Anyway, on behalf of Lagos State Government, the competition was organized by Lagos State Council Arts and Culture under Gbenga Shonuga. So, while I was working in the chamber, I just decided to go and visit Lagos Art Council. And then I saw a lot of people there. And my uncle was also working, and I went to him and said, who are all these people? He said they are teachers. That Lagos Art Council was organizing an educational theatre workshop for teachers. I said, can I join? The man said, are you a teacher? You that you are just coming from secondary school, you can't join now. I said, okay, maybe you should me tell Oga is Shonuga. Yeah. And Shonuga already knew me because he saw me when I was performing in the competition. So when he told Shonuga, Shonuga was a very garrulous person. No time to waste. The boy they told him, okay, let him join them. Okay. That was how I joined the workshop. Now, in the workshop, there are 5 sections. There's a visual art section. I said that's what I wanted. But there was also a poetry section. There was dance section. There was drama section. And then I think acting. 5. So after joining them, I was doing well in my visual arts section. But anytime I'm free, I go and join them in drama. Once I'm free from that, I go and join the drummers. In fact, when the drummers are packing their drums, I hire them to carry their drums. And when the people in poetry are doing their own, I also go and, for me, I was learning. So I see how they were writing their poem. I also write my own, and I'll show it to somebody. One of them, hey, please sir, look at this. Because they are all older than me. I was the youngest. So we came to Unilag to have a command performance because there was now a play that all of us took part in. So we presented the play at Unilag. After the play presentation, then they are now giving people awards. The best in this, the best in that, they are calling them. And then I was in a corner with one of the teachers. That man was trying to tell me that, look, your future is bright, so in art. The level you are going to can. He was just advising me. The man is in Badagry now. Wow. Ademola, yes. That man, before Badagry Road got spoiled, he will use his money, hire a bus, put children like this in a bus from Badagry, will bring them to attend art events in Lagos. It could be drama, it could be visual arts exhibition, anything art. He was using his personal money. So I was discussing with him, then there was an announcement that now this award goes to the overall best participant, and the winner is Mufu Onifade.
Overall best.
Till today, I still have that certificate with me. So I won that, and I returned to my law chamber after the event. Only for me to go to Arts Council one day. They said, they've been looking for me now, but the Arts Council wanted to give me employment. Will I be interested? So the first question I asked is, number one, this is an environment that I want to be. Oh, I'm sorry, what is the salary? How much the lawyer was paying me? 30 naira.
Wow.
30 naira per month. And the Arts Council was now going to be giving me 90. Omo.
JP.
Well, resign. Hey, now. So I had to resign, and the man was very happy with the way I handled things. That's the lawyer. The old man prayed for me. He said he never regretted having me as a clerk. Some other stories happen between you and me. I'll be telling you. So that should not be a subject of discussion here. Now, because of the question somebody asked, how do you make money to send yourself to school? When finally I gained admission to Ibadan Poly, I was at the Art Council when the admission came, and I wanted to go and see Shonuga to let him know that, sir, I've gained admission now, and I want to write an application for study leave with pay. And now you have to go that forward now. Yes, sir. So the man didn't allow me to. He just say, "Oh yeah, go and see Mr. Godaga." Mr. Godaga was one heading my department. Wow. Because he's studying fine art at Yaba Tech. Wow. So I went to meet her. Ma'am, I just gained admission, and I want to write an application for study leave with pay. And I said, "No, I'm sorry. Government cannot grant you that. No, you are not in the provision for. You are not qualified." Blah. So when I heard all of that, the next thing I gave them a resignation letter and disappeared.